Yo, what's going on, guys? It is time for another reaction video, and today I'm going to be doing something from my American React series, and I'll be reacting to 10 crazy things a Scottish person noticed about America. Let me mention real quick too, because I always mention this at the end in case people don't watch all the way to the absolute very end. Anything I say in these videos, please don't take offense to it. It's just my reaction on the fly to whatever I'm seeing. I try my best to be respectful to everybody that is viewing or from other countries. I'm not here to upset anybody when making these videos. So if I do say something that upsets you, please don't take it personal. It is not my intention. But let's go ahead and get into this one and see what it's all about.
Picture this, right? I am sitting having a normal day and I get a direct message from the embassy to the UK of the United States of America. I'm thinking to myself, what have I done wrong? Who have I offended? Am I going to be extradited or something? Right? United States of America, embassy to the UK sends me a message. We would like to meet you.
I just noticed too, he's wearing a Texas shirt, which is awesome because I'm from Texas, so.
And talk about a potential trip to the United States of America. My first ever trip to America. Wow, it was exciting. I went for that meeting and I was accepted for a cultural exchange experience with the United States Embassy to the United Kingdom for my first ever trip to America. And since a lot of you guys asked about this, here it is. My top 10 first crazy impressions of the United States of America when I went there for the first time. Hello everybody, how are you doing, and welcome to today's episode. I hope you're well. My name is Sean and I'm a vlogger from Edinburgh, right here in Scotland. And in today's episode, we're talking all about a kind of cultural exchange between America and Scotland. We've got a wee bit of an announcement at the end of today's video, right? But one of the things I just love about YouTube, one of the amazing things is this awesome community that I've been able to...
I want to see real quick when this one came out. So this is from February of last year, so almost a year ago. All right, let's go ahead and get back to it.
Help build with you guys, like, it's just phenomenal. Built up some like really awesome friendships from people around the world. America has played a big part in the last couple of years of my development as a vlogger. I've been lucky enough to go there 2 or 3 times now, and I absolutely love it. And a lot of people, especially people who are new to this channel, have asked me, I want to know your thoughts about America as a first timer when you came as a Scottish person. What did you think about America when you came here? So I thought I would answer that question in today's vlog definitively. What did I, as a Scottish person, think about America? What were my first impressions? So I put together a wee list of 10 things I think is important to talk about. Now, America. I need to talk about this because a lot of people say this whenever I talk about America in my vlogs. I, of course, know when I'm saying America, I actually mean the United States of America. America could be construed as ambiguous. A lot of people have pointed that out. That is what I'm going to be using for the purposes of today's episode. The country that I fell in love with when I first visited just over a year ago now. Anyway guys, listen, thank you so much for joining in with today's video. If you're new, please don't forget to hit that red subscribe button in the corner so you can join the clan, join the family.
Thank you for the reminder. I try to tell everybody this when I do these videos. Go check this channel out, subscribe as well if you like this video, because if he didn't make this video, I couldn't do this reaction. So. And Sean, I hope you don't mind that I'm using this video. I will actually be featuring this video on your video, not mine, on my channel All About the Life, which is a collection of videos, just stuff that I actually consume. So please don't give me a copyright strike on this video. I hope that me sending traffic is a way to return the favor to you. Let's get back to the video.
Around about 80% of people watching these videos are not subscribers. And if you're one of those people, why don't you join the 20% club? Click the button, it's free. I think the thing is, growing up in the UK or pretty much anywhere in the world, American culture permeates wherever you are. And I certainly grew up on American culture, whether that was on TV with like The Simpsons or Friends or whatever. We just looked on in America as a cool place, almost like our favourite uncle.
You can't spell USA without us.
The 10 first impressions I had as a Scottish person when I first went to the United States of America. Number 1, y'all are just super helpful and friendly people, I find. A lot of people say about Americans that, you know, might be kind of rude or whatever, but I don't find it that way at all. I was amazed by just how friendly people are. I want to tell you a story, right? I was in New York, of all places, because New York in particular, people always say New Yorkers are so unfriendly, right? But my experience does not match that, right? One of my first times in New York, we arrived there and we just got off the air train.
Sorry to pause again. My neighbors are doing something outside with a chainsaw or lawnmower or something, and It's incredibly loud, so I don't even know for sure if you'll be able to hear that in the video, the mic I'm wearing. But if you do, I do apologize, and I'm hoping they'll be done soon, because it's kind of distracting even for me trying to watch this video. I just keep hearing their mower or chainsaw, whatever they're doing.
Which takes you from the airport, JFK, to Jamaica Station or something like that, right? And kid you not, we were sat at Jamaica Station looking at a map, trying to figure things out because it's a complicated metro system there. We were looking up at this map, maybe for a minute or two. This man came over to me and my wife. He said, listen, I can see you're lost. I'm going to help you guys. This guy had a suit on. He was obviously on a busy working day. And I kid you not, he spent 15 or 20 minutes figuring out where we were staying and what we needed to do on the metro to get to where we were staying. He basically held us by the hand to make sure that we got the right metro line. I was shocked. That won't happen in the UK anywhere here. So I found people in New York, that was a great first experience. I just found people in New York really friendly, but I found people all around the United States really helpful and friendly as well. Two, another thing I thought was a little bit crazy is y'all are quite, how can I say this? Enthusiastic is not the right word. Y'all have got really, really heavy state pride. My first trip to America, I went to DC, I went to Florida, I went to Texas. Texas represent. And the level of pride I saw in each state, and how people were kind of almost, and I've said this before in the vlog, almost like kind of state first, country second, but state was like a very much part of their identity. For me, like, I found that a bit odd. I don't know why I thought that would be odd, because when I think of America, I just think of this one homogenous country, when actually it's a huge place with a lot of different, very different states, right? And if I think about it, we have got a number of countries which make up these islands of Great Britain, right? And I would definitely say Scotland for me, I am Scottish, right? So it shouldn't really surprise me, but I guess it did. Speaking of state pride, you guys obviously know I've got this Texas shirt on that I got.
It even goes deeper than that, to be honest. So here in Texas, I don't want to say that we're rivals with some of our own Texas cities, but I live in Houston, and maybe and some of it ties back to sports possibly too, but like Houston, Dallas is somewhat of a rival. Austin and San Antonio are the other two really big cities in Texas, and there's not like quite that rivalry with Houston and Austin or Houston and San Antonio, but for some reason there's somewhat of a rivalry with Houston and Dallas. So you'll see people say that they're very proud to be from Houston, or they're very proud to be from Dallas, or even very proud to be from Austin or San Antonio, but there's somewhat of that little bit of a rivalry between Houston and Dallas. So yeah, so it goes, you know, kind of city, then state, and then country.
I was there. A lot of people who watch this vlog send me other pieces of merch. For example, this t-shirt from Detroit, which I've never been to before, but I will go there one day. Thank you very much for sending this.
He actually just brought up a good point. You guys ever want to send me anything? I do have a mailing address listed below in the video description. Always more than happy to accept y'all's gifts. I've been trying to hold enough things to be able to do a mail time type video, but I haven't gotten that much stuff yet, so we'll see. Maybe I'll start getting more.
Also received this cap from a viewer. This is the Appalachian Adventure Company. Appalachian, is that how you say it? I think I'm saying it wrong, so I do apologize to any of you guys.
Pretty close, Appalachian.
From North Carolina, which is part of my announcement I'm about to make on this vlog. At the end of this episode, I've got an announcement, right? Thank you very much for this. If any of you guys want to send any of your local state merch, I'll put an address down below. Number 3, y'all love your food. I was blown away by the variety of food you guys have, yes, of course, right? But also just the amount of food that we can expect when you go to some places like home-cooked food. It's so good, so filling, right? But they give you so much. When I went to a barbecue in some real kind of backwater country place in Florida, well off the beaten tracks, wow, like the amount of food that they put on your plates was incredible. The passion that went into that food was something that I had not seen anywhere. That was in Florida. I also went to a really awesome barbecue place in Texas. It was incredible. And basically everywhere I've been in America, I have tried the different foods. Like, I just found it incredible, and I was not expecting that. I've got a hat here now.
I'm happy to see that, because I've been doing a lot of these videos now where I'm reacting to what other people have said about the U.S. And maybe it's because you've actually visited here, and a lot of those ones where it's just what their thoughts are of our country. But it's always the assumption that we just eat nothing but hamburgers. We just eat hamburgers and we eat McDonald's all the time. So the fact that you're bringing up that like we're passionate about the food here, and then you're mentioning barbecue, yeah, there's a lot more foodie culture here than just hamburgers and McDonald's.
Number 4, right? Y'all are very extra. How can I say this, right? I'm not meaning this in an offensive way whatsoever, right? Because people say Scottish people, we are out there, we're a bit wacky and nuts, and of course we are. We are out there, friendly, and just a bit crazy sometimes, and that's definitely one of the attractions of our people and why people like us, right? But when I went to the United States of America, it was another level of being out there. What I like about America, I think, is people just come up to you and say their mind. They're not afraid of it. They don't pussyfoot around like we do in the UK. We're very much like kind of have a roundabout way of getting to the point of saying something to someone. Like in America, you'll just come over out there loud and proud and say what you're thinking. I like that.
Shut up and keep talking. You're telling to shut up. I told you to shut up.
And like, how can I quantify this? Really, another program I watch quite a lot, Storage Wars. And if you really compare, right, Storage Wars in the United States versus Storage Wars UK version, there is a massive difference, right? Storage Wars US, people are just absolutely out there.
Now you're making me want to go check out the UK one, because I don't watch Storage Wars very much. I used to watch it when it kind of first came about, but to see if there's really that massive amount of a difference, now you've got me, you know, intrigued to go see that and kind of compare the two myself.
An extra, absolutely, and I just love it. I love that about your culture. I kind of find it infectious, and I want to be more a part of that. I think British people, we can be too prude, we can be too cautious and conservative about what we say and how we feel. But I just love that you guys are just out there and like in front. Number 5. Y'all are very extraordinarily proud of your flag and national anthem. Like, of course, every country is proud of their national anthem and their flag and stuff. We sing the rugby matches and the football matches and stuff like that, but I'd never experienced anything like it until I went to the United States of America. I went to a football match and like, when the national anthem was playing, people were like crying and stuff. I also went to Arlington National Cemetery and people were like, wow, the flag was everything. And I just think it's really cool, that pride. I'd never really seen anything like that before, but definitely something I noticed. Americans are very, very proud of country, of flag, of national anthem. It was kind of crazy for me to see that at first, but like, I get it. Number 6, right? Of course, America is the home of fast food, and you've exported it around the world. Wherever you walk around in Scotland, for example, you'll find a McDonald's within about a mile of each other. But listen, you guys have got so many better options than us. I mean, it's only within the last year or so that we've had Five Guys here. You guys have had that for donkey's years.
Donkey's years. See, now this is kind of what I was talking about. I'm glad he's going further and delving further, because it's McDonald's is like McDonald's. That's like bottom of the barrel. Like, I don't know. I keep saying this in all of these videos. I don't really go to McDonald's. Like maybe once in a couple of years. And if people are eating fast food, it's going to be more localized fast food. Like here in Texas, we're real big with Whataburger. California's real big with In-N-Out. But you know, Five Guys and Shake Shack that he mentioned, that's kind of an in-between of fast food and upscale restaurant. It's like that in-between of like, it's still fairly quickly prepared fast food, but it's not like going to a drive-through. I guess that's the best way to explain it.
And then honestly, I was in America, in the good city of Dallas. We went to an In-N-Out burger. Oh my God.
In-N-Out just made its way into Texas over the last couple of years.
Oh, that thing was incredible. I'm thinking, like, you guys just have so many options of these fast food places. Like, why do we not have In-N-Out? It's the best burger I think I've ever had.
I feel like this is the cultural experience of the day. I like that. In-N-Out, so we went in and came out again. It was very, very good actually. Really enjoyed that.
Oh, I want to come back and get an In-N-Out burger now. 7, I need to talk about guns. I'm not going to get in the big debate of like guns, because I know that this rumbles on and on, right? But for a British person, and any British person this would apply to, we are just not used to seeing guns, right? We've never seen them in our lives. And then when you go to America, you see these policemen walking around with massive guns. It's just something we're not used to. So it's definitely something that was kind of like a crazy experience for us in the beginning, and I certainly felt like that. But I had to immerse myself into this culture a little bit more, because it was part of my first mission to America. I went with the United States Embassy to explore gun culture, and they wanted to take British people to America to kind of learn how you guys feel about guns and the different opinions and stuff. It was part of the mission, right? So we went to a gun show in Florida, in Orlando.
Real quick, you keep talking about the thing with the embassy. Sean, if you happen to see my video, I'd love to communicate with you. First, if you ever come to Texas, I'd love to meet you and show you around if you ever make your way to Houston. But I'm also curious how you were contacted by the embassy, and if there's something like a reversal of that, like if there was a way that I could come to Scotland as an American and have kind of like that same reverse treatment of the introduction like what you got here. So yeah, Sean, if you see this reaction to your video, please reach out to me. I wanna learn more.
And I was like blown away. This warehouse of you could have had a war quite comfortably. It would have supplied a massive army for days and weeks. Like, they had all different kinds of things. I was blown away. And just talking to people there at the gun show about what they do with the guns and like their passion for the guns. It was crazy for me as somebody who had never been brought up around guns, but you know, you have to just understand it. For you guys, it's been part of your culture since you were young. And as I say, like, it might be just a different feeling for us as Brits. This doesn't necessarily mean we're judging or anything like that. We're just like, we're not used to it. I went a little bit step further, right, into my curiosity on that trip. I went to a shooting range. There's a video on this channel of me at the shooting range and being absolutely terrified. I felt so uncomfortable at the shooting range, so uncomfortable about being around guns.
I'm gonna have to go check that video out. Maybe I'll do a reaction to it. Maybe I'll just watch it for myself. I don't know, but you know, I'm glad I actually hit that subscribe button on your channel now, because you seem really interesting and I want to start watching more of your content overall.
People next to me having guns, I just didn't like it. I just felt really uncomfortable. But that's just me having never used a gun before. Not something I'm massively keen on repeating, to be honest with you, but it was an experience I had to have because it is part of the culture, right? Taking me on to my next point, number 8, right? Around this kind of theme is the security, the levels of security, because that trip in particular, my first trip to America, we went to a lot of public buildings, we met a lot of public officials and went to a lot of departments, police departments, and like the levels of security, by the way, I had never seen anything like it. Like airport security in like office buildings. It was quite bizarre. I can see why it's necessary. So that I did find a bit crazy. I think to add to that though, security in general. So you've got these public building security stuff, but actually at the airports, your security guys are on point. The people who work for the security agency in America don't take bull from anyone, okay? They'll tell you what they want, like a drill sergeant in the army, and you better comply because they ain't messing around. That's what I learned. Number 9, something I found really kind of crazy when I first went to America is y'all have cities and states that are just so different from each other. I know this might sound quite simplistic, but actually to me when I first went there it was quite a shock because we don't really have that here. Of course Scottish culture is different from English culture, big time if we're talking about the UK context, right? Definitely we have our own unique identity here in Scotland, but really our cities between here and I've just come back from London, I was there a couple of days ago, but really our cities like London to here, they have so many similarities, like everything's just quite similar, right? But in America, like the differences between states I found really quite shocking in the beginning, and obviously the cities as well. And I think that's really cool, like especially for somebody who's visiting and seen different states, you get to see all these different cultures. Like for each of the states you guys have, they all have their own story to tell, right?
You know, my goal was this year right now to be traveling full time. I just bought an RV last year and was going to hit the road, but long story short, got laid off because of COVID, have to put all my plans on hold, just accepted a position with a new job that's not going to give me that flexibility to travel. But in the last 5 to 7 years, I've definitely done a lot more traveling within the US than I ever have. So what he's saying is absolutely on point. You know, it's like, I grew up with Texas and Texas culture. Growing up as a kid, we took family vacations to Florida, so we would literally drive there. So we'd pass through Louisiana, Georgia, Alabama, and am I missing one? To get there, but we didn't really experience that culture. I went to New York for the first time in 2018, hit California in 2009 and again in 2018. But just the difference in the culture within our own country from one state to another is very real. It's very interesting to see how some of these other cities are laid out, what the architecture looks like and stuff like that. It's very, very interesting.
They have their own history that's totally unique from each other. You all have your own local governments and that. Each state has its own different kind of pop cultures, has its own culinary experiences. You have your own politics in each state, accents, and then also geography. But the thing is, and this is what I don't really appreciate, the United States of America is flipping massive. It is a big, big place, right? It's a continent if you compare it to what we have here in Europe. And that is what I need to understand, because actually the countries in Europe, we're also very, very different from each other. So many different cultures and countries mashed up into a small area, probably about the size of the United States of America. So it shouldn't really be that surprising. But it's just something, as a first-timer to America, that I was like, okay, wow, this is different. Number 10, all right? This is something I found really surprising, shocking, and actually interesting, is that y'all are very, very connected to your heritage. And I don't really mean American heritage, I mean your heritage as in, if you look back in your genealogy, way back into your family lines, where actually do you come from? And that so many people in America seem to identify as being American, but something American. And for me, that's one of the awesome things about doing this channel and having this connection with you guys, is the fact that I'm connecting to a lot of people who are Scottish Americans and also Irish Americans. But that's like such a strong thing for you guys. You guys feel really connected to this history, and I think a lot of it stems down to the fact that, you know, 300, 400, 500 years ago in Scotland, so many people emigrated to the United States of America to help build the colony, right? That's how it started. Also, Scottish people were being persecuted. The Highlanders, we all had to flee Scotland, made a new home for ourselves over the United States of America, and that's how the country was built. So you guys are quite proud of those people who came over, and I can totally get it. That is why you guys identify as being, you know, Scottish American, Irish American, or whatever, because of this emigration of these people who went to actually start your country. And a lot of people in America have like Scottish names. I just think it's awesome, right? It's something I'm really fascinated to build more of, this kind of culture and connection, because actually the thing I wanted to tell you guys, a wee bit of an announcement.
So before he makes his announcement, I wanted to talk on what he was mentioning a minute ago. If you look at my background, my makeup, my history, on one side of my family, my dad's side, I am a first generation American because my dad immigrated here from Havana, Cuba. And his father immigrated to Cuba from Istanbul, Turkey. So my dad is a makeup of Turkish and Cuban because his mother was from Cuba. But now if you go on my mom's side of the family, I am second generation American if I'm looking at her mom's side of the family. If I'm looking at her father's side of the family, it's at probably fourth or fifth generation. I'm not real sure how far back my grandfather's side. So my grandfather was here in Texas. He went to England, and forgive me because I don't know which war, but he was in the first American Air Force before it was separate from the Army. And he was based in England, which is where he met my grandmother. My grandmother was a British war nurse. I'm going to pause this real fast and pick up because my camera is about to stop. 1 second. All right, sorry about that. So, yes, my grandfather met my grandmother while he was stationed in England. And so if you go back even further than that, my grandmother, her father was from Ireland, her mother was from England. So they got married in, my grandfather and grandmother got married in England, and then they came back to America and started a family. And then fast forward to when my mom grew up and met my father. So I am British, Irish, American, and I don't know where my grandfather's American roots tie back to, Cuban, and Turkish. So I'm a mix-up of 5 different cultures that I know of specifically, and I'm sure if I was to do one of those like ancestry things or whatever, I would discover that it goes back even further. But what that means for me is, like, growing up, hearing an accent to me, it wasn't something new, and I didn't realize it because I was a kid. I just grew up with my parents. You know, my grandmother, she had a very thick British accent. My dad has not an overly thick Cuban accent, but he's got a Cuban accent. One of his brothers has a much thicker accent than he does. My mom had an American accent, you know, so it's like, and then being in Texas, we're also surrounded with a little bit of twang and a little bit of Texas accents. So I was surrounded by different accents basically from birth, you know. So even though I'm not bilingual, unfortunately, my dad didn't talk to us in Spanish growing up. I really wish he would have. I wish I knew Spanish. I like to learn about other cultures, and I think part of my interest in other cultures is because I myself am made up of so many different cultures. So I kind of went on a long side tangent here from what he was talking about, but I just wanted to kind of make note of all that. So we got about 2 minutes left in this video, so let's go ahead and get back to it.
I'm going to the United States of America this year, 2019. Hopefully a couple of times. I'm trying to work a couple of things out, right, to make it happen really soon for an event that I want to talk to you about later on, right? But one thing I'm definitely going to is a cultural event in North Carolina later this year. Very, very excited about it. I think it's going to be awesome, but it's an event that celebrates this connection of people who have the Scottish American heritage. Obviously, a lot of the thing has stemmed down to this kind of love affair a lot of people around the world have had with Outlander, which has kind of really told the story of Scottish people who left here and went to set up a new home in America. So North Carolina, we're going to a Scottish festival later this year. I'm so excited about it. I can't wait. And I just really want to learn about the people who really identify as having Scottish heritage. As a Scottish person, I'm fascinated by this. How our culture is celebrated so strongly in America, and actually celebrated even more so than we celebrate it, right? I find that fascinating. I want to learn from that. I want to take that learning back to Scotland with me as well. So that is my announcement. It's going to happen, and I will be telling you more about that later on, but so cool. But anyway, that was my video today. A lot of people have been asking for my opinions as a first timer in America when I went there as a Scottish guy. So here it is, and I thank you so much all for watching till the end. It's been great speaking to you. I've got a lot of other kind of related videos about my time in America. I'm going to put a couple of links up above, up here actually, and also kind of other cool and quirky Scottish related videos. For example, Scottish accents, my Edinburgh accent, comparing that to someone from the West Coast, Glasgow. There's a video all about that on my channel. Anyway, that is it for today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been great to speak to you. Until the next episode, until the next adventure, I hope you have a good night, morning, evening, afternoon, or whatever time of day it is wherever you are in the world. Take care.
All right, Sean. Glad I came across your channel. I am definitely going to be going back and watching a lot of your videos, especially to see all your visits to the US. At the beginning, I think I said that the video is a year old because I'm still thinking we're in 2020, not 2021. So this video is actually almost 2 years old. Obviously, COVID's messed some things up. Travel's not as easy as it used to. But when you come to the US again, if you're in Texas again, if you're in Houston, like I said, if you see this video, reach out to me. I'd love to host you, take you to some places, and help you to experience more of American culture, Texas culture, and more specifically Houston. So I will see you guys in the next video. Later.